Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am super excited to take you through my Azure Virtual Machine lab. How to create a virtual machine in Azure step by step and connect it using the public IP. Whether you are new to Azure or brushing up your skill, this video will guide you in a clear and simple way. We will learn about the virtual machines, how we can deploy the virtual machines from the Azure. Windows Virtual Machine in Azure is a computer environment that runs the Windows operating system. Azure VMs are hosted on the Microsoft Cloud infrastructure and can be accessed from anywhere in the world with an internet connection. And this is a perfect example of infrastructure as a service. Let's understand what are the requirements for deploying a virtual machine and how it works. So let's suppose you want to deploy a virtual machine, you have a Azure virtual account, or one of the very first prerequisite is you should have a Azure account to deploy any machine. This is important. If you are new, you can create a Azure free trial, or if you have the Azure account, you should have a subscription, pay as you go subscription or whatever the subscription. Let's dive into the steps you need to follow. The first step in deploying the virtual machine is creating the resource group. Uh, this is how the resource group looks like in Azure. For an example, I'm giving you a basic example of Azure resource. This is the resource group that we'll be creating in Azure. A resource group is a logical container where all your Azure resources are organized. Think of it as a folder that keeps the related resources together. For example, in resource group, you can create virtual machines, you can create storage account, uh, you can create virtual network, and these kinds of resources that you can create it, any NIC card or any public IP, all these resources will be created in the resource group. Once you have created your resource group, you are ready to proceed the next step. Next, you will create a virtual network. This is like your on-premises network but created in Azure. Here you need to define the address space, uh, which is the range of the IP address from which your Azure resources will get their private IP. So in this lab, once you create the resource group, under the resource group, you will be uh, creating a virtual network called as VNet. In the VNet, you will define a address space. Address space is a kind of IP pool from which your resources will get the IP address. So in this lab, we will be taking an example of 10.0.0.0/16. From this IP address range, you will get the IPs for your resources. Once the VNet is ready, it's time to create your virtual machine under the VNet. And this is how it looks like, that you will be creating a virtual machine under a VNet. And this machine will get IP from this address space. For example, this machine will get 10.0.0.0.4. This is the IP address, and you will be also creating a public IP address, PIP, public IP address to this machine, which will you use to create a RDP connection from your local laptop. So after the VM is deployed, you can connect to it using the remote desktop protocol. Simply enter the public IP address and login credentials you are in. So this is your local laptop or your machine. For you will open a RDP over here and you will provide the IP address and the credential and you're directly in the machine. And from there you can use this machine as needed. How to create a virtual machine in Azure portal. Whether you are a beginner or just looking for a refresher, this video has got you covered. Let's get started. The first step is to locate the virtual machine service. Use the search bar at the top of the Azure portal and type virtual machines. Click on it and you will see an option to create. Select Azure Virtual Machine to open the setup wizard. In the wizard, start by selecting your subscription. If you are new to the Azure, you can use the free trial or the pay-as-you-go subscription. Next, you will create a resource group. Click on Create New and name it something like RG Demo. This step organizes your resources into a logical group. Okay, once we name the resource group, now it's time to name your virtual machine. Let's call it Demo VM. Select a region, ideally that one is geographically close to you, like East US, Canada Central, any option you can select. These are the options that you will get, and we will be going with the Central Canada. So, where the Central Canada is Canada Central. Availability zone, you can select no infrastructure redundancy required. Security type, you can select as standard. Next, select the operating system. We'll choose the Windows Server 2022 Data Center Azure Edition. Then pick the size for your VM. Let's select it. Uh, Data Center Azure Edition Generation 2. Now we have to select a size for the VM and we are going to use I recommend a configuration with 2V CPU and 4 to 8 gigabyte of RAM. Once that is done, set up your login credentials. Let's uh, select 2 vCPUs and maximum 8 GB of RAM. So I'm going to select this one uh, and select. Once this is select, use a username. So I always take a name of the virtual machine as a username, providing a password. So password is provided and you need to select public inbound ports and select the inbound port with RDP3389. This is required to make a connection from the internet to your virtual machine. And let's jump to the next. This is the disk uh, page. Leave it as default. Let's jump to the networking part. On the networking page, create a new virtual network, VNet. Name it as a demo VNet. So let's create one. Demo VM1 VNet. It automatically picks up the name, and we will be selecting the address range of 10.0.0./16, and this includes 65,536 IP addresses in this range, and we have to select a default subnet. So we will be selecting a subnet of 10.0.0./14. We will discuss this, how we can create the subnet, how we can calculate the IP address in a different video. I will definitely create that. For now, let's select that. Then assign a public IP address, naming it something like demo VM public IP. So this is a public IP. So if you click on create, name it as demo VM1, and here we know as public IP. So I'm naming it as PIP and click OK. Then select the inbound port is RDP3389. Delete the public IP and NIC card when the VM is disabled or deleted. Let's select this option. Once this is selected, directly move to the monitoring, and here you can select the boot diagnostic as disabled. Click on next, leave all this as default. Next, next. This will validate your machines and your configuration that you have configured. So this is saying the validation is passed. You need to click on create. Once you click on create, it started creating your resources under the resource group that you have created, and it will looks like this. And you can see that deployment is in progress. You can click on the template from where you can see the ARM templates, like parameters. What are the parameters that we have uh, provided to create this network, and this is the output where we are getting, and these are the input that we have provided. And from here you can download the templates as well. And this is the overview. So in the overview we will be able to see that we are deploying demo VM1, and this is demo VM1107. This might be a NIC card that is creating for that virtual machine. Demo VM PIP is a public IP address, which is a public IP address it's creating for that machine. So it says that your deployment is complete. So once we see that, we need to click on go to the resource. Once we click on that, we can see that our machine is deployed. So it says demo VM1 virtual machine agent status is not ready. We will wait for some time and it will be ready by itself. In the meanwhile time, we will explore the settings that has been created with this. So you can see that resource group RG demo 1 is created, status is running, operating system is Windows, size, this is that we have selected. This is the public IP address that is assigned to the machine that we have created. And this is the virtual network subnet that we have created. And if you go to the networking section in the network settings, you will see this is the NIC card that has been created. If you go to this NIC card, you will be able to see that this is the IP that has been assigned to the machine, which is 10.0.0.0/14. 0.0.4, and this is the public IP address of the machine. Uh, to understand it better, let's go back to the home page and I will show you the resource group that it has created, where it is creating the resource group. Click on home. So we are on the home page of Azure portal. Here you need to search for resource group. So when you go to the resource group, you can see that there is a resource group called RG Demo 01. So in the resource group, you can see your resources, Azure resources, that is Demo VM is your virtual machine, Demo VM1 NSG. So by default, whenever you are going to create any virtual machine and NSG has been created, NSG is a network security group from where you can control the inbound and outbound traffic of the machine. Demo VM 1 PIP is a public IP address. This is the virtual network that you have created, and this is the NIC card, and this is the disk that we have created under this resource. So if you want to go to any resource, you can directly click over here, like virtual machine. This is looks like your virtual machine. And if you go to the NSG, and you do see that we have allowed the RDP port 3389, and this is allowed in NSG. That means we have allowed the 3389 port to take a remote of this machine. So anyone from the internet using that public IP can take a remote into that machine. We will be able to see in a few minutes. So this is a security group, and you can allow the incoming traffic and outgoing traffic, and we will have a separate video on NSG. I will discuss more about the NSG into that video. And let's again stick to that resource group, what else in the resource group is and how the things look like. So this is your public IP. When you click on it, you can see that this is your public IP created, and this is associated to this machine, and this is demo VM1, and this is using the Azure free trial subscription. This SKUs the standard and regional. From here you can check everything, whatever configuration, whatever you want to check, you can check it from here. Okay, this is the NIC card, from where you can see that this is the NIC card and this is the IP address and all of the settings. You can see all these resources differently alone, or you can check all this information in a VM. So now let's go to the VM and try to make a connection with that machine. So I'm going to the virtual machines where we have created it. So you will be able to see that you have one machine. So when you click on that machine, uh, in the overview tab, you see that connect option. When you click on connect, you will be able to see an option right over here, download the RDP file. You can download an RDP file, uh, which can directly uh, take this IP, or you can run MSTSC remote desktop connection onto your machine. This is my personal machine, and search for MSTSC, which is the remote desktop connection. Here it is, and here we will type the public IP, which is 4.0.0.4. 174.168.162. Click on connect. So more choices, use a different account. I've used this name as demo VM1, name it as, and enter the password. Remember me, click OK, click on yes, and you will be. So this is the machine, and now you can use this machine however and how you want to use. So this is all about the machine. So, or you can directly download this RDP file over here, and you can directly click over here, and this will directly give you an option to connect. When you click on connect, it will ask you to enter the username and credentials. Username will be auto populated. You just need to type the password. Click OK. You will be able to click yes, and you are connected to the machine, and you can perform whatever the action you want to perform on the machine. And there you have it. You have successfully created a virtual machine in Azure, from setting up the resource group to configure networking and finalizing the deployment. This process is straightforward. Thank you for watching, and if you find this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Azure tutorials. See you in another video. Thank you.